What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you watching as always. So I am finally back to work on the 6-liter. And if you are unfamiliar or haven't watched the previous videos, we are putting together a 05 LQ4 6-liter that is going in my 1951 Dodge Coronet. And we have been working on prepping the engine for boost. And I was stalled for a bit waiting on some parts, which just came in today. So I have a new Melling oil pump and a front timing cover, gasket set, and new seal. And I was waiting on this stuff so I could put it in, and then we can put on our oil pan for the final time. And so for the oil pump, I kept it simple. I went with an Melling M295 pump, which is a stock pressure and stock volume pump. Nice budget setup. Like I said, the gasket set, and then I'll go over the specs of what oil pan we've got. So I'm going to start by throwing on the oil pump. We can put on the pickup tube O-ring and the new pickup tube as well. All right, so I've already got the old pump off. All right, guys, one thing I forgot to mention, the stock oil pan windage tray here needed to be trimmed in order to fit the oil pan that I've got. So I trimmed that piece off, so it is about 4.5 inches to the center there that I had to cut off. And what I did, you could do this a couple different ways. I trimmed it so where it still retains this front mounting nut, and then I trimmed it back a little bit over the top and then back out a little bit to retain those. So you might have been able to get away with trimming slightly less, but that was a little bit on the safe side. So I've test fitted the pan. It clears just fine that way, and it is because the pan is so shallow at the front here that it hit the stock windage tray in there. So something to be aware of. A little bit of trimming is required to fit this, which I knew before I got it due to some other guys doing videos. I'm going to oil the pickup tube O-ring. It slides on there like that. And just bolts into place like stock there. And then the pan comes with all new hardware for it, which is nice. So what I'm going to do is Loctite the two little screws, because obviously we don't want those coming out of the pump. All right, and I don't have the correct Allen bit to go on my torque wrench in order to torque these, so I'm just going to snug them down good. Just like that. I think we should be good there. So now I'm going to go through and tighten down all these nuts, and we can call that job done. All right, so I finally got the front timing cover all installed. I got the new seal put in, new gasket on, I temporarily threw the balancer back on just so it made sure I center the timing cover correctly with the seal. I RTV'd the corners of the timing covers where they meet the block at the front and rear. Help those seal a little better. We've got our new gasket here, so we can finally get to actually installing the pan. All right, so this pan is a Holley knockoff. Holley pans are between $400 and $500, and that just wasn't quite in the budget. So we went with a knockoff one from eBay. It was about $110 shipped, so good on price. Overall quality, looking over it, it looks really good. Couple things you may want to check over if you do decide to get a pan like this for yourself is some of the holes around here and then on the side. Just kind of check over those. Make sure there's no weird like flashing or like material that's not a slag that's in them, because obviously you don't want that blocking your oil passages. So just kind of check over that. Everything else looks really good. So I have the stock truck pan over here, and it's kind of crazy the difference in size or depth. You can see the difference there. And height-wise, it is, what, about, I'd say about 3 inches. Yeah, about 3 inches shallower. So that should give us a bunch more room. So that's nice. It comes with this baffle in here. I did pull out the screws. I Loctited them. And then the other thing, the reason I went with this specific pan, the 302-3, it has oil drains already built into the pan, already threaded, and it comes with, wherever they are, here they are. It comes with both a 1/2-inch NPT threaded fitting there, and then also plugs if you're for some reason not using them. And then it comes with all new hardware as well, and a new drain plug, which is nice. So I think for the money, it seems to be really good quality. I think it's going to serve our purpose just fine. So now we are going to get it thrown on. And right here is just a blank hole. There is a hole in the pan, but there is no hole in the block. So I didn't forget to put a screw there. There's just not supposed to be one. Alright, so then we'll obviously go through, torque all these down, and then we'll put our fitting in the one side, drain plug in the other, regular oil drain plug, and then oil pan will be done. We'll get an oil filter, and we should be set. Alright, so we have the pan all bolted up, and something I wanted to make a note of. So the pan comes with this fitting here, which I originally thought was like a drain or a fitting for the side for a oil drain. However, it is actually an adapter that will screw in. If you notice, there is no stud to mount your oil filter on. So this is actually designed to screw into that, and then your filter goes onto that. However, one thing is a little issue you'll run into. That size screws up in like it should. However, sorry if it focuses, the other thread here is bigger, which does not Pull out a new filter here. For a stock truck filter, it does not, the threads are too big and they don't thread in. So what I ended up doing is simply pulling the stock fitting out of the original pan. It has a big Allen head in the end of it, so I just pulled it out of there. So I'm going to reuse this, and then that has the correct threads, and then you can keep a regular truck oil filter. And so we're going to thread this in, and yeah, I think we should be all good. All right, so over the last couple weeks, I have been working on collecting parts. Thankfully, it came out pretty good timing-wise. I was able to grab some stuff for Black Friday and saved a good chunk of money. So, next thing on the list. Seeing as how we have our short block finished up, the heads are ready to go back on, and I put a little bit of work into these. So I got new valve springs all installed. We went with Brian Tooley Racing, their 560 lift springs. See, there's the part number, 560 lift. So these will do just fine for the mild cam that we've got. And so I went through, I got all of those replaced. And also I replaced the top hat seals. These go underneath the valve springs, and then the valves go through the centers there. So they're definitely on the worn side, so I got those all replaced. I got a valve spring compressor off of Amazon. Not necessarily a very exciting job. There's plenty of good how-to videos if you are interested in doing that. So I didn't take the time to film all that, but I got them all done, both sides. I got the faces of the heads cleaned up. And so now we're ready to throw these on. We have a fresh set of LS9 head gaskets, which are great for boosted applications. These are from Michigan Motorsports. Nice, not very expensive. We have ARP head bolts, and as far as head bolts go, there are a lot of different things you can do. You can reuse stock head bolts, and guys have great success doing that. So if you're on a super tight budget, you can reuse head bolts and you can get away with it. You can do, I debated a long time whether I want to do ARP head studs or bolts. Eventually, I just decided to go ARP head bolts just due to price. They're considerably cheaper than what studs are. And for the horsepower that we're looking for, they should do wonderful for that. So we have our head bolts, we have our head gaskets, we have our heads ready to go. And so now I'm going to do a final cleaning on the deck of the block here. Clean them up with brake cleaner. And we're going to get our heads thrown back on. All right, so that is this side all torqued up. So what I might do is throw my push rods back in, my rock arm assemblies, throw the valve cover on. That way it's all protected again. right, so we finally got both heads all torqued down. We got our push rods and our rocker arm assemblies reinstalled and torqued back down. Got our valve covers back on. So for the most part, we have our long block finally all complete. I know a lot of the process is not the most exciting thing ever, a little bit on the boring side. And we still don't know, obviously, if this engine runs, but hopefully. So, going to wrap it up for this episode. In the next one, we are painting this engine. Might be a junkyard turd, but at least we can hopefully make it look a little better, a little less turd-like. So, yeah, that's going to be the next video. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you.